So Ken, I was intrigued to hear you saying the other day that you had more recently, a few years ago, just opened up your capacity to visualise and see things. And it's something that I would like to be able to do. And I was wondering how you did that, whether it just happened or whether you've actually done things to help that happen.
Okay. Well, I actually did it fairly actively. When I was a teenager, I was very visual, and then for some reason I lost it. So that I then became very auditory, is what we say, where I was very hearing centred rather than picture centred or eye centred. And also kinesthetic, which is where feelings became a major reference for me. I mean, you're asking the question about visual. Each of us have a series of different ways of processing reality and of ways of taking in information from the outside, and also ways of putting it out. And the three main ones are visual, auditory and kinesthetic. And visual people tend to relate to themselves and the world very much through pictures. And they talk with picture words, so they say, look here, what I want you to see is such and such. Auditory people do it through sound, and they don't think in pictures the way picture people often do. They think in sound, and it's like a voice in the head. It's not that they're saying something to themselves, but they actually hear their thoughts. And kinesthetic people process reality in terms of feelings. So they feel their way into things, and they have all sorts of shifts and things going on with their bodies that prompt them to be able to report what they're thinking. Feeling people tend to use feeling words as well. Auditory people use speaking words and sound words, like clear as a bell, for example. What I want you to understand in what I'm saying is such and such. Okay, now in meditation, those three and the others of the range, and there are more, are relatively important, because in order to become whole and fully responsive to what's available to us, which is what awakening is about, it's helpful to have all these systems functional and working in an integrated way. Because to begin with, we've got five senses, right? So we look out at the world and we think of eyes. We listen to the world and we think of ears. We touch the world and we think of our skins. We taste the world, we think of our tongues. We smell the world and we think of our noses, right? But actually, in terms of awakened consciousness, when all of that is integrated together, the whole body becomes a sense organ for the higher being. So instead of each sense being a separate channel of information for the physical person, and the me inside us and the I of our personalities and that sort of thing, there's something that's bigger than all of that. And the body is the anchor of that aspect of us, which you might call the soul or the being, or we tend to use the words I am, the I am presence. And the body then is a whole sensing apparatus that is feeding the world into the consciousness of the I am, or the soul. So it's really worthwhile being able to have all of that functioning together in an integrated way. Now in meditation and in life, if you're wanting to emphasise and develop the visual sense, start to use visual words. Start to look at things and pay attention visually. And in your meditation, when you're meditating, if you're wanting to enhance your visual capacity, as you're meditating, look above the horizontal. So you have your eyes closed maybe, but you look up above the horizontal. And you breathe into the top of your chest. And that tends to activate the visual cortex in the body, so that we start to have pictures more and more. And as you're using picture words, you can do the same thing. You can be looking up. You can start to practice remembering things by making pictures of them in your heads. as well. So you get introduced to someone, visualise the name written across their face. And then when you re-meet that person, you think, what's the person's name? And you look up and you see the picture that you've stored in your visual memory. With auditory capacity, if you're wanting to enhance your ability to actually hear sound inside your head, like music playing or people talking or ideas or that sort of thing, you actually breathe into the mid-chest and you keep your eyes horizontal. So when you watch auditory people talking, you'll see their eyes are moving backwards and forwards horizontally, usually. So you keep your eyes straight ahead. If you've got your eyes closed, then it's the same thing, and you're breathing into your mid-chest. So you breathe in and you sense that your ribs are expanding, but there's not a great emphasis here or down here. And with the kinesthetic, what you do is you use feeling words a lot. And that helps to stimulate the kinesthetic sense in you. And you breathe into your belly. And to breathe into your belly, you just open your mouth slightly and breathe down through the diaphragm, so that it's actually your lower lungs that are being filled. And if you put your hand on your belly when you're doing that, you don't push your muscles out to make that work, but by drawing your diaphragm down as you breathe in, it actually pushes your belly out naturally. So, I mean, they're just three of the systems, but they're simple ways of doing it. So you concentrate your attention on the ones you're wanting to strengthen by using words, by starting to think in those terms, and so on. And you can do these other things to help to shift the way your brain is processing things and what capacities are available in your brain to produce pictures or sounds or feelings.
Thank you. So it is, from your experience, something that you've actively had to develop. It's not just kind of happen naturally.
I think that, I mean, for a lot of people, it might all be there, but because of something that was done to my eyes when I was a kid, my natural development in that area was interrupted. So I've had to do basic training to do that. What's also true is that through meditation, my brain has changed enormously, and I can actually, I've got all sorts of evidence about that, that it has evolved. There's a wonderful book called The Brain That Changes Itself that is available now, that actually runs through the way the brain is forever forming and reforming itself in response to experience. So I'm delighted with that, because there were issues that arose for me that got laid down in my central nervous system when I was a kid that I've needed to change. But in meditating, and through meditation, a lot of that has happened spontaneously. And my whole system is much more alive and much clearer and functioning better, and I'm not just talking about eyes, as a result of being enlivened and healed by the lovely energy and by what comes into the body as we get more awakened.